Hi, I'm Trent Gustus of Keller Williams Realty. In this luxury home presentation, I'm going to take a look at the high-end market and feature this month's top sale.
To help make our stats a little bit more relevant to you, I'm going to divide up the city into different quadrants. I'm going to do the inner city, the northwest section, the southwest, and what we're talking is west of Sarcee, because we would consider anything east of Sarcee to be inner city. The deep south, which would be Fish Creek, Chaparral, Mahogany, all of these south areas. And lastly, we'll do the northeast. At the end of the video, we'll go over the whole market so you can compare how your numbers match up with the overall. Okay, so when we look at the inner city properties sold, 68 sold listings over 800,000 in April, and those were, our high sale was 2.375 million, and it was at 1436 square feet, price per square foot. But the average was about 603 a foot, and the median, where most of the buyers were paying, is about $551 a foot. Now our sales prices don't mean much as averages in this group. So what we really want to do is look at the how many sales we had. So we had 83 sales in March, so definitely a little bit more, few more in March, and the prices were a little bit less than they were per square foot. Now when we look at in last year what things were going for, things were pretty much the same. So we had about, very similar pricing, and our top sale at that month was almost 4 million, but we sold 57 last year. So definitely more sales in that particular group. When we look at what our inventory supply is, we can see that we have 263 active listings over our $800,000 mark, and those are priced at, on an average, about $664 a square foot and a low of $613. Now most of the homes that are left on the market are currently bigger homes, so even the median was 2,400 square feet compared to where the buyers bought, which was 2,200 square feet. And so that's quite an interesting statistic. So when the real estate board says it's a really hot market, what they mean is there's a group that is between, let's say, 400 to, let's say, where they intersect, to about 550 in the inner city. That there's more need for properties than there is available. So that's where the big need is. Everywhere else we have an excess of inventory, and properties that are over 1.5 million, we actually have 120 properties available, and we have just in the last month only 5 that sold. So if properties are sitting for a little bit longer, this would be the reason. So your top sale in the inner city in April was in Britannia. It was this 2-story home built in 1956. Well renovated home, 1778 square feet on the main floor, and looks like it's been well upgraded. It was a total of 2,594 square feet, and what an awesome location. It backed onto Riverdale Park. So now we'll move on to the northwest section. So in the northwest, in our high-end group, we had 24 sales in the northwest, and those were priced at an asking price of $996 on the average here with our average. But really the most important number we want to look at is $383 a square foot, and as low as $366 a foot. And last month the prices were a little bit lower. For March, $359 a square foot, and the median was for this group was $342. And the days on market were quite a bit longer, 50 days on market. But for last year, only 11 sales in the same time period. So this year is definitely better. And $349 was our average price per square foot. So they're definitely getting more for the houses. Now when we look at the fact that we sold 24 listings last month, going into May, we have 75 active listings above 800,000. And those listings are priced at $471 a square foot on average, compared to where the buyer was looking at around $390. Now what this chart shows is different price groups and what the inventory supply now compares. You can see that a really hot group, when they say the market's really hot, it's really hot between the $300,000 and up to about 550s, where we actually don't have enough homes in some cases for buyers. This dark blue line is the sold properties. But as you can see here, we have about an equal amount, sales to listings in the market, so it's not really oversupply like some markets. And in the Northwest, our top sale was 1.45 million, and this was a home built in 1985. It had a triple front garage, and it was well renovated throughout. It was a total of 2660 square feet, and as you can see, it was a great location backing onto the park. Now we're going to move to the southwest section. We're talking west of Sarcee, Aspen, these areas, Signal Hill, and so forth. Now when we look at this southwest section, we had 31 sold listings in April, and our highest sale was 2.625 million, and it sold at 637 a square foot, well above where the average for this group was, around $412 a foot, and 364 was where most of those within this comparison were made per square foot. Now when we compare that to the month of March, actually had more sales in March, 38, and those were priced at on an average of 380 a square foot. And our high sale of that month was 2.4 million. When we look at April of 2013, 32 listings, so pretty similar as far as the sales are concerned, and priced at 380 for last year per square foot. So the pricing hasn't changed much from last year, and maybe up a little bit for this particular month. And the days on market's very similar as well. Now when we look at the amount of inventory we have, but we have a lot of listings available, and that'd be 159 listings available compared to the demand for listings of 31 last month. And you can see that where these prices are at, a lot of them are a little bit bigger homes, and they're priced at $496 a square foot, when the buyer's really looking to make offers on homes priced at about $423. So what's left out there is the higher priced group. Now when we look at the inventory compared to sales, we've got some different groups here, and below this year, below the 800,000, below the million mark, we went up every 50,000 here with this report. And this is the dark line is your sales line, and you can see here that on properties that are above 1.5 million, we've got a lot of properties available, like 53 available, compared to where we had last month 3 sales. So it tells you that if you've got a very high-end home, there's a lot of properties to buy. Now when you get down a little bit further, it gets a little bit better between 1.2 million, 1.3 million, around that range. It gets a little closer. There's not so much oversupply, but on that high-end group, there is quite a bit of building going on out there, and there's lots available properties to buy for buyers. Now our top sales for the area was in Aspen, and it was a 2005 built 2-story on a super wide lot with a triple garage. Looks like it backs onto some green space, which is really nice. Relatively new house, and total square footage of 4,730 square feet, and really nicely done. Total of 5 bedrooms upstairs and 1 bedroom down. Nice walkout basement. And as you can see, it backed onto some trees, but it did back onto other homes. And now we'll move to the deep south. Evergreen, Silverado, Cranston, Mackenzie Town, all these south areas. So going on to the deep south, the higher end properties, only 13 sold listings in April, and we had a sales price per square foot of average of about $424. The high end sale was 1.7 million, and it had $749 a square foot, and this one particular property shows up as being sold in 18 days. On average for those properties. Now, if we look compared to March, almost the same numbers, almost the same sales, but not the same numbers. So prices up per square foot for the month of April compared to March, and days on market were split in almost in half. Compare that to last year, almost the same amount of sales, 10 sales in the same time period in April of 2013, but the square footage prices were a little bit less, 377 on average, and this last month 424 up here in April. Now we look at from a supply point of view, 78 listings actively available, and over just 13 sales in the previous month overall. And of those active listings, they're sitting at about 2,700 square foot on average, and they're asking about $471 a square foot, whereas the buyers are really looking to pay somewhere around $436. So that's kind of an interesting development, that most of the properties are a little bit higher price per square foot, the ones that are remaining on the market. They're also about $200,000 higher than when the buyers are really looking. Now when you're looking at supply and demand and you're hearing that the market's really hot, well, down here in the deep south it's really between up to about the let's say the 550 mark. That's the point at which this dark line represents the sales. There's more desire for properties than there is properties available compared to April. And the numbers are fairly close when it comes to the higher end properties, but above the $1.5 million mark, there's 14 available listings, and there was no sales. So there might be that's kind of almost an infant number, but we had, I think, 2 sales here back below that group, and so that matched up pretty good. Our top sale down south was in Canyon Meadows. It was actually a bungalow built in 2010. And looks to be a new house with all the trimmings. May have had to even take a house down to build this one. And you can see that on the main floor, 2316 square feet, and 2 bedrooms up, and a triple car garage, and sold in 48 days. And it did have a superior location backing onto a green space. And next we'll look at the northeast section of the city. Now when we look at the northeast, we actually had 4 sold listings in April, and they ranged around $287 a square foot. They were on the market for 46 days, and that's up, I guess that's double. These are homes that are over 600,000. We don't have too many over 800,000 in the area, so it becomes kind of a moot point, but we've got $238 a square foot selling last month, so definitely certainly up from March. And when we look and when I compare it to last year, we'll see that last year we were selling for $217 a square foot, so the prices are definitely up. But these average days on market were 123 last year, and this year they're 46, so they're definitely selling quicker. Now when we look at inventory supply, we can see we got 4 active listings available. Those active listings are available at $308 a square foot, which isn't too far off for that price range to be where the buyers were looking at for homes at $767 at $297 a square foot. So what's on the market is smaller, and they're asking a little bit more money per square foot, and that means that they may sit on the market longer. We'll have to just see and watch and see what happens for next month. Now, it should probably come as no surprise that the hottest part of the market is really, between this, $250,000 group up until we get to about 550 is where most of the buyers are, and there's really an oversupply once we get to, the price group between 350 and 400,000. When it comes to the higher end properties, there's not much available and there's not much sales. Okay, so for the Northeast, we did have a high-end sale at $870, and this was a beautiful bungalow on a 2-acre lot. Now, for most of our reports, we don't include acreage-style properties, but this is a really remarkable price for this property when you think about how big it is, and the year built was 2007. So if you look at, it was 2217 square feet, and if we look at comparing to regular residential properties, we'd really say that this Coral Springs was the highest sale, and it was a 2-story backing onto the lake, and it was also 2,400 square feet, and that was your high sale, sold for $730 in 13 days.
Back when I started selling real estate, over 90% of the homes I sold were expired listings or homes that other agents couldn't sell. During that time, I learned from my clients the many frustrations that they had selling their homes.
We had our house on the market last year for about 6 months, right, Bruce?
Correct.
And it's a high-end house. It's across the street from the park. It was listed at $1,299,000, and we just really didn't get any offers or any traction on the house, and we couldn't figure out why. Our realtor was really good, really nice guy, but we were asking him for more of a marketing plan for the house, and it just didn't seem to come. So in August, we took the house off the market, and we decided to relist the house in January, yeah. And at that point in time, I remember seeing a brochure that Trent had done up, and that brochure from his company explained how he used video from a marketing perspective and all these other marketing techniques to actually move your house on the market. And we were really impressed with it, so we gave him a call, and Trent came in. And after we had a short conversation with him, we interviewed 3 other realtors, by the way, and none of them had the marketing strategy that Trent has. So Bruce and I decided, okay, let's take a chance with Trent for 90 days, see what happens. We listed it for the same amount of money, $1,299,000, and luckily within 36 hours, amazing actually, our house sold at $1,250,000, and we were really happy. When we were interviewing the buyers, they actually shared with us that they saw our house on the market last year, and they looked at the photographs that were on the MLS, but it didn't really tweak their interest, so they just passed it by. They didn't come up to see the house, and they don't live far away. They're only a few blocks away, but nevertheless, they turned it down. And then when they saw Trent's video, they were really excited, and they said, we got to have a look at this house. And they came up, and they were the ones who made the offer and bought the house. So we're really happy for both Claudia and her husband, and for us to have moved this house so quickly. So thank you, Trent. Job well done, very professional.
We have a high-end home, and it was a challenge to sell. It had been on the market for 2 years. The virtual pictures, and it was a popular realtor that was working with us before. But when we received this invitation from Keller & Williams through Trent Gustus' team, it intrigued us to put it on the market one more time. And it was fascinating because we thought, what a novel way of marketing a home. Trent came in and they did a very detailed job of videoing the home and inside, outside, and with the detail that was featured, because we put so many extras into this home, it is almost impossible to get your money back out of a high-end home. Once listed at over $1.65 million, this is a lot of money. But in order to do this, they have to understand what it is that they're getting that is so special about it. So his skill work in making this visual to the watcher was an answer to what we needed to sell this house. Then I guess the other part which was very pleasing was how we sent these ongoing video updates of our competition out there as far as the comparative market analysis with his voiceovers to show us what we are looking at and how we do compare. And this caused my wife and I to think and ponder as to maybe we should lower our price a bit more to even be on the cutting edge of the market. And so we made the analysis based on his thorough analysis of what's out there on a regular basis. We got these video update reviews, and this was good as well. So all in all, it was an enjoyable experience as we went on this journey to success. And the video and the way he did it with the voiceovers and the pictures that we saw as far as the pricings of different unique things that we added in helped sell the house like nothing else, because the ones who did buy the house spent but less than an hour in this house and were prepared to deal at 7:30 that evening, so well done.
This is just 2 examples, but in 13 years of marketing homes, I've got hundreds of examples of turnaround situations. High and low-end homes, fixer-uppers, show homes. I've marketed a home just like yours. So call me today for a low-pressure interview to discuss the sale of your home.